P.S. The rebels. Samuel. Sema. Look, I learned from the poor righteous teachers. Defeat is no longer an option for these features. Black, no cream of the fact that I'm so eager. The hungry East African snacking through your speakers. I got dealers, scholars, and killers around. So becoming a rebel wanted in your city, your county, really don't wow me. I'm from a village to town near you, I'm here to collect. I'm fulfilling a bounty. Look, from international down to the locals. Everyone around knows Samuel with the vocals. Hope goes smash on the session on Pro Tools. And I'm repping my roots, it's just part of the protocols. I didn't vote, not at all. My article's a confession. What if I just bought the next election like they do and choose my own presidential candidates to represent them? I'm the real black symbiote, Samuel Venom. I'm momentum leveled up. Keep going, we'll let them up. It's like the UFC in this game of life. How we set them up to fail, etc., etc. I said it raw, and you heard it here first from Jaws of the Predator. Send that straight to print. No editor, serve them like caterers. Amazing what the fuel of a hater does. Honestly, it's like a major rush. I need it. See, I'm African, and they ain't no saviors for us. Nah, and they ain't no saviors for us.
Pie, let's go. See, I learned from ancestorial alchemy, African royal dynasty anointed in ceremonial boundaries. True my rebel, nothing about me cowardly. I smoke my wee before I go devour beats. My inner demons surrounding me, and they growling me. The way I stand my ground, you be proud of me. Sea moss for the allergies, heart pumping kerosene, cause they don't care to see or treat us with courtesy. Please, okay Google, now tell me why they rappers now softer than ramen noodles. And I was built up from my skin rough just like a loofah. And what I've been through is maybe go cock-a-doodle. And shout out to the producer, I'm a nuisance. The type to eat some mooses in Bermuda. Out here with lion snakes, gorillas and barracudas. Na lazima nitakula kabla nijakufa. Niliruka lakini sikuanguka sababu tulijifunza kuishi maisha yako kama shuja. Hakuna Mungu hapa anakuja. Amuka, wanadanganya wanataka sisi kupigana na matata sana, na wanaka hapo na wanakula. But ain't no more of that, reporting live from the jungle where ain't no tourist that notorious. From where killers get deported back. Stay woke like insomniac, master the art of rap. No cap, we stole it back. P.S.
The rebels.
Peace to the family, man. Welcome back to Sankofa 180 Degrees, family. Hey, man, we back once again, fam. How's everybody doing, man? Hey, I hope everybody's well. And so, listen, man, I just want to tell y'all, man, join us for the children's book read, man, every first Sunday of the month at same time, 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have to, hey, man, it's imperative that we, as adults, as parents, uncles, aunts, it's very important that we all participate in our Black African history, man. They're taking the Black African, they've taken Black African history out of the school system here in Florida and many more states. All right, and many more states, and it's coming to many more states near you. All right, and all I'm saying is, fam, make sure that we combat this. We have to combat it, man. They don't want us to know Black African history. Why? Why is it so important that we not teach our babies Black African history? There's a reason for this, fam. and they're trying to erase it. They're trying to erase it and change it. They're going to rewrite it, right? They're already given the narrative that that the slaves benefited from slavery. They gained some type of skills. I keep saying this every show, right? Because it's true. This is what they're saying. So this is the new narrative. This is what they're gonna spin. They're gonna spin it out to be now. Now it's gonna be like, oh no, we just helped them. That's basically what they're saying. They helped the slaves. They helped the brothers and sisters who they turned into slaves. We just want y'all to know, family, that our history goes way, way, way further back, way before slavery. All right. And we can walk through history, the historical data, we can walk from 4000 BCE all the way to 2024 AD today. Okay. We can walk and we can show you history, real, live history. All right. And this is what we're doing here, man. We're showing our kids history through these books, children's books, right? African centered books showing our kings and queens and our our geniuses, our multi geniuses, like Imhotep. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
showing you guys where we came from and the accomplishments that we made long before these people came into existence. All right. So I'm just trying to say, man, it's real important. Please join us the first Sunday of every month. Children's book read. We give away free books. It doesn't cost you nothing. Um, African Center books, like I said, Queen of Zinga. You get Ida. You get you know all these so many different books. Just all kinds of them. You know. So Imhotep. Those books. You know what I mean? Um, and they're informative for the children, which is a children's book, but it's informative to the adults as well. Very informative. So just pay attention to us, man, and bring the babies out, man. First Sunday every month. Okay. All right, man. Peace to the panel, man. What's going on, man? What's going on, Gerald? Peace to you, King.
Well, you know, that's all that love. Is you, Jamie, what I'm up, having me here, and then
That's right.
hopefully y'all can understand me a little better, you know, trying to get my voice back stronger,
Right.
on the hill like out in the hay, okay?
Right.
Looking good.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, already. So, here, Neil with the Knowthyself book, my name Akbar, we done made it to chapter 3, power in education, so now we really gotta figure out how education dealing with power, and how if you don't have education, you don't have power. And even if you think you're educated and you ain't got no power, you don't have the right type of education. Yeah, you get miseducated. But that's what it's
Right.
about. They continue to try to miseducate us. But what we know is our duty to each one, reach one, teach one. So all we try to do is reach one. And hopefully they reach one. But again, happy to be here. And turn the floor back over to you, Jamie. That's how I'm not knowing.
That's right. Black power, black love. Hey, peace to you, Unc. What's going on, King?
My man. Hey, I'm ready to rock and roll, man. Um, yeah, you guys covered it all, man. We got the questions up and we have questions to answer. I put them on the 3 different platforms. So I know people are a little shaky about coming on here. I don't know why, but at least they can you know, review it. So, be sure to go to YouTube and like, subscribe, dislike, but please comment and share the video. You can even dissect the video, you know. give us an opportunity to come on while you dissect it. If you want to share it with people and share our part, but either way, you got freedom to share our information here. So I'm ready to rock and roll, man. How you like that song? I wasn't on when it played. How you like that song?
Already.
Oh, that's sharp, man. That's hot. That's
A little
hot.
different. Yeah,
Yeah, that's hot.
they've been out for a
I
while,
really
man.
enjoy that.
I went back like
Oh yeah.
13 years, man, that they've been out, you know. So and maybe more, but I thought it was pretty nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they own it.
Yeah, they own it for sure. Yeah, I like the way my man was rapping in his language too. I like that.
Yeah. Hey, let me just go over real quick with the chapter twos. You know, we studied the physical, personal self, the social self, the tribal self, the ancestral self, and the spirit self. I believe I got those correct.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And now we
Yeah.
move into chapter 3.
Right. Chapter 3. And the title of chapter 3 is education as power. Um, so I mean, fam, I mean, we almost like halfway through with the book. You know what I mean? I mean, it's you know, it's not a whole, it's not you know, overbearing book. It's not too long where you know what I'm saying. I mean, I literally, man, the book is literally like 70 pages, man. You know what I mean? So I mean, it ain't. It's just but it's packed with information, man. Some really good information, fam. So just check us out if you know, and if you're just now joining us, you can the book is online. You can get it and read it yourself. Um, a lot of us just happen to have the book personally, but we do have it. It's online. You can go back and catch up. But right now we're on chapter 3, and we're gonna push on through. Uh,
Well, let me just say this real quick.
well,
I believe this is okay. That you can even come over to Sankofa 180 degrees, the Facebook group page, and request that we send the PDF to you
yeah,
if
you
you're
can get it.
looking
Yeah,
for it. So you can get it yourself, but it's just another route. We open to sharing information, so we ain't trying to put a cap on nothing. All right,
right.
Jamie.
All right. Hey, um, all right. So I'm gonna jump it off there, man.
All right.
All right. All right. Chapter 3: Education is power. Power is the ability to influence the environment consistent with one's self-interest. It is true that power is disrespect, carries the implication of domination, but definitely not the domination of other people. This definition of power has implications for the domination or mastery of our needs. Power is tended to put people into the unique position that they can obtain and achieve within the context of their environment those things that maximize their survival and the continuation of themselves to the best of their ability. In a world of plentiful resources as this one is, such power does not require arming oneself as a predator or other of other human beings. In a world of predators, though such power would perhaps equip people to adequately defend themselves from becoming prey from the greed of others, or to at least seek safe asylum from the predators' oppression. Power in this sense does not require the conquest of other people, but only the acquisition of those things which have been realistically assigned for the advancement of one's own people as participant in the human community. We assume that environment, the, the environment, sorry, of the outer world and our inner resources together have all that is needed to ensure the comfortable and effective advancement of the human family. We must use our inner resources in order to take from the environment those resources that ensure our advancement as human beings. Power then has to do with the relative effectiveness we we have in getting from the environment those things that are in our self-interest. At the simplest level, the environment is the source of food, shelter, and clothing that are the fundamental necessities for physical survival. Translated to a broader dimension, all of the resources that are needed for advancement of the physical being are located in the physical environment. The farmer, the scientist, the manufacturer, the banker, the realtor, and the stockbroker are all engaged in the process of extracting from the physical environment those resources that ensure survival and expand a people's control over those resources. Those who have maximum influence over those physical resources are considered to be very powerful. Those who have limited influence are considered weak and certainly lack of power. Uh, those who have limited influence are considered weak and certainly lack. Oh, I already read that. The effect of greed and the drive of domination is that it drives certain people to gain more and more influence so that they can limit the access of other people to the resources in the environment while maximizing their own access. This is an exploitation of power that is the exaggeration of a natural impulse of self-preservation that becomes the drive for domination rather than participation. What is needed by a people to ensure that they are able to eat, are protected against the elements and can defend themselves from danger or disease is nothing magical, nor does it require any more than influencing the environment consists consistent with our own self-interest. Influencing the physical environment. Education is the instrument that should equip people to gain control over the physical resources of the environment. The skills that one develops in the educational environment should maximize each person's ability to gain better access to the resources in their environment. In the highly complex and modern societies, the actual labor for growing food, building houses, creating clothing, discovering new medicines does not depend on individual mastery in these areas. Instead, there is the process of exchange or trade where we give someone something that they need in order to provide us with something that we need. This is what money is about and how the economic process operates. Though these things have been made to appear very complex and abstract, even magical, the bottom line is that people establish mechanisms to ensure the survival of themselves and their kind. They are naturally motivated to develop power, i.e., the ability to influence the environment consistent with their own self-interest. A criterion of education then is not how much money that you make. Let me read that again. A criterion of education then is not how much money that you make, but how effective you are in gaining independent mastery of this power to influence. Are you able to develop such attractive skills or resources that you are always able to negotiate a trade and not depend upon the arbitrary choices of being hired or fired based on someone else's ability to exercise maximum control? That's the question. So ultimately, one does not pursue education in order to get a job, but to control resources in such a way that you will always be in a position to negotiate a trade. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, as people, we must become producers and not remain consumers and employees. We must be able to extract raw materials from the earth and manufacture them into something useful for ourselves. This world this will create jobs in production. We must remember that without land there is no production. The surplus of what we produce, we would sell. This would develop a field of commerce and trade as other free and independent people. The slave was not, I mean, sorry, the slave was removed from the effective negotiation, of his or her skills because their skills belonged to someone else. He could eat if he worked, but he could also work and not eat, depending upon the arbitrary decision of a slave master, because the slave had been robbed of access to education. She or he could only develop the skills that gave their owner the privilege of trade. Neo-slavery has provided African Americans the opportunity to spend a decade in training beyond secondary school and can only develop skills that permit their masters to negotiate a trade. African Americans become brilliant CPAs who cannot conceive beyond one of the contemporary masters films firms. There are brilliant surgeons who cannot negotiate their skills unless the HMO master chooses to bring them to their plantation. Because we believe that power can only be given as a favor from a powerful master, we fail even to seek the kind of education that effectively empowers us. To many of the most gifted African American managers, scientists, and manufacturers have no aspiration beyond acceptance on one of the impressive plantations, referred to as major corporations or firms in modern language. Everyone who gets an education cannot become an independent entrepreneur, but everyone can should gain the independent ability to negotiate the trade of their skills for the necessary resources for some for the necessary resources for survival and advancement. An education that doesn't equip you to do this and ultimately to become an instrument for the and collective advancement of your own community is miseducation in that it doesn't empower you. Again, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad observes, since our being bought in chains to the shores of America, our brain power, labor, skills, talent, and wealth have been taken, given, and spent toward building and adding to the civilization of other people of another people. It is time for you and me to start doing for ourselves. We must not let our children be a- as we as are we beggars of another man for his home, facilities, clothes, food, and the means of providing a living. In order to select a proper education, then training, it is important to appreciate the goal of education as a device to gain this kind of influence over the environment. If the end result of education is only for to compete for a job rather than to negotiate or influence then that education has been ineffective. We need to develop the kind of skills that will bring us autonomy in our immediate environments as individuals, and eventually to be part of a community that has autonomy. Sorry, so in the world, in the world environment. America, Israel, France, etc., must cooperate with other nations in the world for maximum survival and effectiveness. But they ultimately approach the world markets with autonomy because they have independent resources to negotiate. This is quite unlike most of the so-called third world nations who are independent on other are who are dependent on other nations and international money systems in order to engage in any type of trade. They are therefore completely at the mercy of those who control those independent systems. Hold on, let me get a drink of water, man. The educational system of so-called developing countries should have as their objective the same kind of ultimate autonomy that we are describing here as a goal of education for the African American. It is important to remember that autonomy and independence are not terms that mean the same thing as separation and isolation. They mean that you must always interact with others from a position of self-reliance. You can never do all that you need by yourselves, but you should always be able to offer those who can do what you need that you need something from your arsenal of capability to fulfill some need that they might have. When you understand that we are all people of similar destiny, fate, and identity, and see our corporation as a necessary part of gaining mutual respect in the large human arena, then you have come to understand autonomy in the sense that we are describing it here. Autonomy also means cooperation, but it means that you control your own chips in the trade. The laws governing effective cooperation require a moral responsibility to consider the needs of those who share your cooperative unit. If your primary moral demand is to ensure your personal success, then you are morally liable because you are unlikely to consider the need of others beyond their ability to fulfill your individual needs. The ultimate result of selfish individualism is a regard for the needs of other humans being to achieve their human share, and a failure to help facilitate that process. In more advanced civilizations, such as the Native Americans and Africans who actually gave refuge of their conquerors, these there is almost always a strong consideration that each human being would at least have equal access to opportunity. This was to define the agenda of America's Declaration of Independence, though slavery and the genocide of Native Americans were blatant contradictions to this claimed agenda. All right, the environment of ideas. Let me get another drink of water, y'all.
Want somebody else to read, or you want to keep going?
Yeah, I'll finish this up right here.
Okay.
All right. We must understand that this power of influence and environment is not limited to the physical environment. For the human family, the environment of ideas is even more important than the physical environment. Ideas represent images, concepts, values of and all of those things that influence how people think of themselves and the world around them. Those who influence ideas literally control the minds of people within the environment of those ideas. Our our concepts of what's beautiful, what's important, what's news, what's good, what's desirable, etc., are all determined by the environment of ideas. Where where people put their energy, their resources, literally, what they do with their lives is determined by the ideas that they internalize. And that we are living in the information age where our daily experiences are so thoroughly influenced by the media and the ideas that we absorb from it. We are even more subject to the environment of ideas that provisions previous generations have ever been. Whoever controls ideas can actually manipulate the physical resources of the entire world. An indication of the value of ideas is the fact that advertisers will pay more than 1 million in order to expose their product for less than 60 seconds during a Super Bowl game. No one would expend those kinds of resources if they were not aware that they had the power to influence millions of people to want what they have to sell. These companies actually create wants and then offer the product to satisfy the want. They are then able to acquire the physical resources of millions, which gives them even greater influence in the material world. There is a genuine understanding that whoever controls ideas can control whatever they want from the environment. Advertising, marketing, etc., are devices for controlling ideas and manipulating appetites. The educated person would aspire to gain access to influencing major ideas in the environment. The educated person in communications would not aspire to just sit in front of a camera, but they would want to be the producer in the newsroom where those items that will be reported as news will be selected. They wanted to be involved in shaping public opinion and not only simply reporting those opinions. An educated an educated person will want to maximize their control of ideas that are to be communicated because they understand that a real measure of human power is the ability to influence ideas. Yeah, the kind of the kind of influence that properly educate seek people seek is not the ability to exploit people by enforcing your agenda on them. Instead, the influence is ideas is the way by which people can advance the environment consistent with their their first interest, survival and advancement as human beings. Dr. Woodson states regarding the influence of ideas, when you control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his actions. You do not have to tell him not to stand here and go yonder. You will find He will find his proper place and will stay in it. You do not need to send him to the back door. He will go without being told. In fact, if there is no back door, he will cut one for his special benefit, his
Right.
Mm.
education, makes it necessary. That's right. All right. Okay. To influence simply means to ensure that children will be able maximally to benefit from opportunities that develop their genius and contribute to humanity out of their unique talents. Influence means that your dignity and resources will be respected and you will be capable of developing yourself and your people consistent with the highest human ideas on the planet. Influence means that your perspective will gain a hearing and will be presented before the human family with the same potential impact as the ideas of any other human group. Developing the ability to influence prom- ideas permit you to tell your story to the world and gain the same respect as any other group. Hey, you want to take it from there, or you want me to go down? Let me finish this up. The miseducation of African Americans, beginning with the cap- captivity, with our captivity, subsequent enslavement, and continued oppression, has systematically restricted our power to influence ideas. In fact, we have been particularly controlled by the ideas of others that have systematically limited our human effectiveness. Since we have since we have not had access to real education, we have developed faulty ideas about ourselves and do not fully appreciate our capability and human potential. What's even worse is that we have not developed an aspiration to influence ideas, but have comfortably accepted the role of a participant in others' ideas, not your own, just other people's ideas. So you become a part of somebody else's plan. That's what you do. Our education, our education encourages us to join other people's schools of thought and not develop our own, even when those other schools of thought may have been developed as a tool to ensure our continued oppression. Our res- miseducation results in our participation in environment, other people's environment of ideas with no sense of responsibility to develop our own. An example of the irresponsibility that miseducated people shows to themselves can be seen in the condemnation that has always come to scholars such as Dr. Carter G. Woodson and other so-called radical black scholars. Those thinkers have frequently met with ridicule who have argued that a real education must expose us to ideas that about ourselves, which inspire us to develop influence and developing ideas which tell us our story our our way. Afrocentric thinkers have received broad condemnation because of their commitment to developing influential, independent ideas about African people. Such condemnation frequently comes from other African Americans and is another example of the acceptance of our powerlessness in the environment of ideas. You see it every damn day, man. Every single day. All day long, especially on Facebook. You see you see it, man. You know, a true education, a true education encourages and empowers people to become influential in the world of ideas. A miseducated person neither develops independent ideas nor a desire to influence the environment of ideas. If a person has not developed the power to influence ideas, then their education has been effective. Now,
Has
and we
not
see
been
it
effective.
has
Has
not
not.
been effective. I'm sorry. Yeah, so it says if a person has not developed the power to influence ideas, then their education has not been effective. So, and we see it every day, man. And it's and if we went by this, the true education, you would have to get rid of religion.
Right.
You would have to get rid of religion, and if you got rid of religion, then you wouldn't have that. You wouldn't have much of this. You wouldn't have much of this. Much of the pushback or the condemnation comes from religion or religious people. Hey, you don't gotta believe me. Just check it out though. Why just look around you.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
That's a real good point, man. That's interesting.
I mean it is because if you went by this, you would have to get rid of religion, and if you got rid of religion, then then you wouldn't have much condemnation, man. It would come from the outside. It wouldn't come from our own people. It'd come from the outside. We wouldn't have to work so hard. That's all. But yeah. Anybody want to take influence?
Gerald, do you want to go? You feel like reading?
If I ain't gonna mess up if they can understand me, I give it a shot.
Yeah, give it a shot anyway. I got you after. I got it after you.
I'm just gonna help if I start
Okay.
influencing the societal vision. Another important aspect of power that comes from public education is the ability to influence the vision of the society. The vision represents the goals, the agenda, and the collective aspirations of the people. The vision raises one's perception from the level of specific ideas to the level of ideals, whereas ideas create the image of how the world exists. The vision creates the image of how the world should be. Here again, the expectation is that people who are appropriately educated would certainly inspire to create a future environment that ensures their presence and contribution. People projecting their continued influence across time create this vision. It grows from a sense of the importance of their uniqueness and the value of their continuity. At the physical level, there are few drives that have intensity of the reproductive drive, that physical urge to perpetuate oneself. Without being told by anyone, normal beings are driven to continue their lineage beyond their mortal existence. This same drive has a parallel in the area of ideas and vision. This is the reason that people exert so much energy in the construction of moments and edifices that they feel will immortalize their ideas for future generations. Everybody's civilization devotes considerable energy to the process of ensuring their continuity. In fact, educational institutions develop themselves are set up not only to prepare people to preserve the gains of the past, but to ensure the continued influence of the present into the future. People write books, develop artworks, create images that they hope will preserve their influence on future time. The desire for immortality ranks high in the religious belief of people because they seek to preserve and extend their influence. Education should not only be a device to sustain the people's nationalism about the world, but it should equip them to influence the world's vision in special ways. This is real power. When one has developed the capacity to influence the vision of the world. African people have always maintained a vision of the interconnection of human beings and the spiritual significance of all things. This vision is an important one for all humanity, and our education should equip us to influence the world in this way. The African American victory over the dehumanization of slavery is a testimony to the resilience of the human spirit, and the world's vision can be influenced by this example from our experience. The world's vision can be free of the kind of repression that has characterized European racism and genocidal attacks on groups of human beings based on claims of racial superiority. This influence on the world's vision will not be possible if we are not educated about our experiences and the special contributions that we have made to humanity. In order to influence the vision, we must have the power of information as well as inspiration. The active work of philosophers, theologians, and thinkers in the Western world is one of the continually seeking to affect humanity's vision. African American philosophers, thinkers, and artists should seek to influence the vision of the world as well. Those goals of human excellence and moral integrity to which people inspire are defined by the societal vision. As artists seek to create images of beauty and to influence the world to adapt to their creative vision, they are exercising the power of shaping the societal vision. Even the desire to engage in vision building is a product of an effective education. Not only should the education equip people with access to the particular vision, but it should empower them to express that vision so that the world will be positively influenced by their creativity. the power to influence the environment is the most tangible outcome of education. Such power is the result of knowing who you are and what resources are available to you. The reward is the ability to achieve those very things which survival dictates we must all have. The ultimate determination of our successful education is the degree to which we are able to develop power for independent influence. This power can provide us with mastery of sufficient skill to obtain from the physical environment whatever minimal resources we need to ensure our survival. We can possess the ability to present ideas about the functioning of the environment, and those ideas can bring a positive evaluation of ourselves and enhance our overall effectiveness in the world. Ideas that tell our story and generate respect for us as a people is a result of the effective education. Ultimately, the power that comes to education can well equip people to participate in structuring the vision that inspires people to reach for greater heights in the advancement of humanity. People who fail to develop this kind of power or who don't want this kind of effectiveness are people who are quite definitely miseducated. And this has been chapter 3 of Know Thyself, and the title is Education as Power. And now we will try to go over the questions and answer all the questions. That's how I'm not doing.
Good job.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
I was hard, but I got
Yeah,
through it.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah,
I started to stop you a little bit, but I figured you would stop yourself. So good stuff, man. Both of you guys, man.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's good reading, Gerald.
The
Yeah.
first, one of the first things that stood out to me was the power of negotiation and influence.
Mm.
And I never viewed it as the way Naeem Akbar is talking about. I did that a lot in my my business really consists of that, right? But I just didn't see it in this realm that's being described here. And that's pretty powerful. That's just one of the things, though. Go ahead,
Mm.
Jamie.
No,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Now, we about to meet the objectives now. We read it. Now we're about to go over these questions.
Right,
These questions will let us know if we met the objective or understand what we read.
right,
So
right.
that's how I'm not done.
All right, let me grab my phone real quick so I can have the questions readily available for the reading. Hold on a minute.
Already.
Send it for his ass out. It's stuff, but he got through it. I'm with you guys. So the first question is, what is power?
Yeah.
You guys already go over that while I was gone?
And then you already got it up, my man. Yeah. Power is the ability to influence the environment consistent with one's self-interest.
Right.
Right. But definitely not the domination over other people. The definition of power has implication for the domination of mastery of our needs. Power is indeed intended to put people into the unique position that they can obtain and achieve within the contents of their environment, those things that maximize their survival and the continuation of themselves to the best of their ability. Yeah, I just didn't want to leave that part out of that answer you gave, Gerald.
Mm. So when somebody has power, they are people who influence the environment.
The environment and
Mm.
inspiration.
Right. So somebody who ever got power than you or you claim they have power around you, they have some type of, and they say they got some kind of influence in the environment dealing with their self-interest.
Yeah, but it kept mentioning our interests as well as the world interest. I know we're going to get into that further, but I just wanted to bring that out. Akbar really kept iterating R, OUR, but then he wouldn't, it's highly specified, to influence the world.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to number two.
So the number 2 says, what's the purpose of the physical environment? That I mean, like question number 1 kind of explains it. Right? I mean,
Yes.
kind of
What is
explains it.
What is the purpose of the physical environment? What is power? What is the
The
purpose of the physical?
environment is the source of food, shelter, and clothing
Well,
that are the fundamental necessities for our physical environment. On the bottom of page 35.
I was just a couple sentences up above that. Power then has to do with the relative effectiveness that we have to getting from the environment, that those things are of our self-interest. That match that question?
yeah, the labor of growing food, building houses,
Yeah,
creating
yeah,
clothing. Yeah.
yeah. That's what Gerald's right. I agree with that.
Mhm.
It's a lot of what our making needs.
It's
You
also at
know
the
what
bottom
I
of
mean?
36 too. I mean, influence of the physical environment. Yeah, that's good.
Let's see.
Okay, so number 3. What instrument is used to equip people to gain control over physical resources of the environment?
Let me just go back to that question too and just read this. The skills that one develops in the educational environment should maximize each person's ability to gain better access to the resources in their environment.
Light it up.
highly complex in modern society is the actual labor of growing food, building houses, creating clothing, discovering new medicines does not depend on individual mastery in these areas. Instead, there's the process of exchange or trade, where we give someone something that they need in order to provide us with something that we need. You know, the basic needs of survival instead of being all greedy and self-absorbed and things like that. So I really like that he explained that, you know, our people, our culture has always done that. We always look towards that. Right. Okay, I'm ready for step number 3. You are.
Number 3, what instruments is used to equip people to gain control over the physical resources of the environment?
Education.
Right.
On page 36, right under influence of physical environment. The first sentence. Education is the instrument that is to equip people to gain control of the physical resources of the environment.
There it is.
So if somebody else have all the resources in our environment, they the ones educated, we not.
Right.
That makes sense?
Yeah,
Right.
that definitely makes sense.
Yeah, we don't control our own physical resources of our environment. You know, somebody else knows what we don't know, and we don't control them. They control them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Perfect answer.
Yeah. So at that point, if we don't control, we know we've been miseducated. You know.
And I like it down here. It says in the same content influencing the physical environment, page 36. Are you able to develop such independent mastery of this power of influence? Or are you able to develop such attractive skills or resources that you are always able to negotiate a trade and not depend upon the arbitrary choices of being hired or fired based on someone else's ability to exercise maximum control? I like that question. The answer for me is no, not to the capability that I would like to influence, that's for sure.
Okay. So, uh, so what instrument is used? You said education.
Education.
Education. What is the objective of an educational system? What is the objective of the educational system? Well, I think the objective of the educational system is so we can so we for our survival, ain't it?
So let's see what this says. These things, though these things have been made to appear very complex and abstract, that even magical, that the bottom line is that people establish mechanisms to ensure the survival of themselves and of their kind. That's just in reference to what you just said, Jamie.
For educational system.
They are naturally motivated to develop power, i.e., the ability to influence the environment consistent with their own self-interest. Criterion of education then is how much money that it's not how much money you make. And I'd already read that, so
Yeah. What you think, Gerald?
I'm trying to find it. I know it's somewhere. I'm running through it right now.
You know, take your time. I like that reading, no, about survival. Said something about ancestral in here. That's what I'm looking for. But
Say,
I think it's autonomy, but I'm trying to.
is it to gain the kind of influence over the environment? It says
good.
in order to select proper education rather than training, it is important to appreciate the goal of education as a device to gain the kind of influence over the environment.
Like that's at the bottom of page 37.
Yeah,
And then right under that is we need to bring it, the development. We need to develop the kind of skills that will bring us autonomy, like Gerald was talking about,
in our immediate
in
environments.
our
Yeah,
immediate
Right,
environments
right.
and individual, and eventually to be part of the community as autonomy in the world. So Gerald, that's at the bottom of page 37 and the
Right,
top
right,
of
right.
38.
Exactly. That is the answer. All of that really here.
Yeah, let's just read that. I like all that shit. French must
In
go.
order to select a proper education rather than a training, it is important to appreciate the role of education as a device to gain this kind of influence over the environment. If the end result of education is only to meet for a job rather than to negotiate for the influence, then that education has been effective. We need to develop the kind of skills that will bring us autonomy in our immediate environment as an individual and eventually to be part of a community that has autonomy in the world environment. And I would think that would mean the objective of an effective education.
okay. And then it says, what do ideas represent? So,
On the bottom of page 38, on the environment of our lineage.
Yeah, and the environmental ideas, the middle of the page.
You go ahead and read it,
Okay.
here in a minute.
Okay. We must understand that that this power to influence the environment is not limited to the physical environment. For the human family, the environment of ideas is more important than the physical environment. Ideas represent images, concepts, values, and all those things that influence how people think of themselves and the world around them.
that's it right there.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Let me just read a little more though.
Okay.
Those who influence ideas literally control the mind of the people within the environment of those ideas. Our concepts of what's beautiful, what's important, what's news, what's good, what's desirable, etc., all are determined by the environment of ideas, where people put their energies, their resources, literally. What they do with their lives is determined. I gotta scroll up. Determined by their ideas that they internalize. And that we are living in the information age where our daily experiences are so thoroughly influenced by the media and the ideas that we absorb from it. We are even more subject to the environment of ideas than previous generations have ever been. What controls ideas can actually manipulate the physical resources of the entire world. I don't want to read too much further because I
Yeah,
see.
because you just answered the
You
next
got it
question.
too much.
You just answered the second question, the next question.
Right, yeah, that's why I said I figured I was
Yeah, you're right. You
sure.
just answered it because the next one is whoever controls the ideas.
Yeah, whoever controls it, what do the ideas represent? Who manipulates the physical? So we're on question 6 now.
Yeah, what is it? What's the question?
What manipulates the physical resources of the entire world?
Yeah, and that would be whoever controls the ideas.
Right, right, right. You agree, Gerald?
Oh yeah, that's right now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Question 7 is, what does it mean to be influential?
Bottom paragraph 39.
Be influential simply means to ensure that your children will be able to make maximally to benefit from opportunities that develop their genius and contribute to humanity out of their own unique talents. Influence means that your dignity and resources will be respected and you will be capable of developing yourself and your family, your people, consistent with the high human ideals of the planet. Influence means that your perspective will gain a hearing and will be presented before the human family with the same potential impact as the ideas of any other human group.
That's it right there.
That's tight. That's woo.
Yeah, that's it.
That's way out of the scope of just being self-absorbed and self-contained and self-interested. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then it says, what does societal envision? So
The second,
so
under influence of the side of vision, the second start with the second feeling.
you talking about the vision represents the goals,
Mm-hmm.
the agenda, and the collective aspirations of the people.
And you're under influencing the societal vision, right?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the second, the feeling after that one too.
The vision raised one's perception from the level of specific ideas to the idea. I mean, to the higher level of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Ideas create the image of how the world exists. The vision creates the image of how the world should be. Here again, we expect the expectation of the people who are appropriately educated will certainly aspire to create a future environment that ensures their presence and contribution, which that is not what's going on, right? Not as a whole, just for a very small specific group of people. It's working that way. Am I misreading it, Miss? I don't think I'm misreading or misappropriating what I just shared. Here again, the expectation is that the people who are appropriately educated would certainly aspire to create a future environment that ensured their presence and contribution. Well, see, and if you use that THEIR, well, that's exactly what the fuck is going on. So that's contrary to what I explained. But if it's talking about R, which I think he would have had ORU in there, they've been talking about us, which we most often are looking to, you know, influence the world in a healthy manner.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the next one is what two things must we have in order to influence societal vision?
Page 41,
It says
third
in order,
paragraph. In order to influence.
right, I was going to read it. In order to influence the vision, we must have the power of information as well as inspiration. So we got to have both information and inspiration. So
Power
those
of
two
Word.
things.
the
Yeah.
power of information and the power of inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Good
And then the
locale. Go ahead.
and then the last is what is the most tangible outcome of education?
The last paragraph, the first sentence.
Page 41.
Yeah.
The power to influence the environment is the most tangible outcome of education. Damn, short and sweet
The
at your
power
ass,
to
huh?
influence.
The power to influence the environment is the power to influence, exactly. The environment is the most tangible outcome of education. Such power is the result of knowing who you are and what resources are available to you.
That's right.
The reward is the ability to achieve those very things which survival dictates we must all have. The ultimate determination is for our successful education is a degree to which we are able to develop power and independent influence. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
power should provide us
Yeah.
with mastery of sufficient skills to obtain from the physical environment whatever minimal resources we need to ensure our survival. That's deep,
Mhm.
right though. Yeah, that's sharp right there, family. That's sharp right there, and that is the end of the questions.
I
And
answer that question again.
what is
And
what the last one?
Yeah.
What is the most tangible outcome of education?
And what's the answer?
The answer is
the power of influence, the power to influence the environment is the most tangible outcome of education.
All right. Answer question number one.
So I got to skip it.
what is power?
Yeah. And that's on page 35, the first sentence.
Right, right. The ability to influence the environment consistent with one's self-interest.
So
Mhm.
we educated, then we got the power to influence the environment.
That's right.
Yeah. And you see how it's coming all the way back around in a circle?
Yeah, yeah. Did a full
Yeah.
circle. Did it? Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
yeah.
So,
beautiful. But Gerald, man, this just really embodies to me. I was thinking about this earlier. This just really embodies to me what you really bring to the table, anyways.
once we understand this and really get this book, then it's, you the teacher. You know what I'm saying? You know where anybody coming from when we dealing with society. You know, we got to influence the environment in our society. That's what the power is. You know what I'm saying? It's simple than that. We
You're not gonna,
gotta let our children
you're not
know.
gonna smoke one?
Really, what they telling
I
us
just smoked. Huh? I
is
just
you
smoked.
ain't got no
Yeah,
power
I'll go
if
back in.
you
Hold
ain't
that for me.
invented nothing. If you don't own nothing, ain't invented nothing from your own ideas, that you got from
So
the
they know it's all right
environment,
here. Hey, well,
you ain't near nothing. You know
the
what I'm
smoke's
saying?
all right here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
for our children to be properly educated, they should automatically be thinking about owning what you gonna own, what you gonna create, not that who you gonna work for. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Yeah, but
Right.
when you gonna create, when you get the same information, but if you get that information to work for somebody or create something, if you know that you needed your environment needed you to create something, then you ain't working for nobody. You gotta create it for yourself.
That's right. That's right.
It's a total different mind that when you still get the same information and what you're doing with it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that power to influence, and I'm trying to find the sentence that is, because there's more to it. The power to influence and the negotiate and influence. That's what I'm looking for. Because he added some more to it.
When you negotiate is when you got power and you just bartering with somebody else. And they got
Yeah.
power. They got something that you don't got. Y'all trade.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, but they done mastered their environment too. They done got whatever they doing out their environment. Whether it's like in Burkina Faso, they done got the gold. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got the power. Now I can negotiate. I got my own self interest from my stuff.
Right.
Y'all had the self interest of what y'all was doing with my raw minerals. Now I got the power. Now
Yeah.
I'm influencing my own environment with my society. Because I'm not doing it just for me. I'm doing it for my whole country.
Right. Right.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I'm educated. That's why I'm doing this here. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. When y'all was educated, y'all was doing it to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, now that I'm educated, I can kick y'all out in this my stuff. I gotta control my own environment.
Mhm.
This makes me smart. Not negative. I'm not a troublemaker. I'm smart now.
Right.
Right. Right. Right.
I'm educated. I'm educated. Shit. I mean,
Yeah.
that's it.
Now I can come to the table and bargain with you if I want to. Now
Yeah.
I can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, not damn here. No, not here. Yeah.
That's what it's
let
about.
me let me just read this here. The educated person would aspire to gain access to influencing major ideas in the environment. The educated person in communications would not aspire to just sit in front of the camera, but they would want to be the producer in the newsroom where the items that will be reported as news will be selected. They want to be involved in the shaping of the public opinion and not simply reporting those opinions. An educated person would want to maximize their control of ideas that are to be communicated because they understand that the real measure of human power is the ability to influence ideas. The kind of influence that properly educated people seek is not the ability to exploit people by enforcing your agenda on them. Instead, the influence of ideas is the very way by which people can advance and the environment consistent with their self-interest, survival, and advancement as human beings. Dr. Carter G. Woodson then makes a statement. Yeah, this book is so solid, man. It's so tight.
Yeah, family, just pay attention.
And then
Like,
to watch that video on chapter 2, man, that was like I'm visual. Of course I can read and stuff, but I'm more visual. Good God, man.
Mm.
I don't know if there's one on chapter 3. Is there one on chapter 3, Gerald?
I ain't trying to basically talking about power, you know what I'm saying? Just on that level, you know. So with your education, when you're properly educated and you want your power, you want control of all your stuff. You know what I'm saying? We usually mostly hear about it in the business industry. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? In the music industry. You know what I'm saying? I want my master. I want control all my stuff. This is my idea. You know what I'm saying? I
yeah,
don't want to work for the maintenance no more. I want to be independent. You know what I'm saying? All right, nigga, you be independent. We gonna blackball you. We gonna tell you no matter, you know what I'm saying? That's the whole concept right there.
Right.
Whether you got the power or I got the power. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, over my ideas. you
Right.
know, of this environment that I'm working in. Who got the power in this music environment? You know what I'm saying? And if you try to take their power, then that's when you ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Stephen, I watch ESPN, a lot, man. And I don't like Stephen A. I don't like his attitude. I'm glad he got the position and the platform he has and the control over it. But I do not like the way he degrades other people on there.
Who you
And,
talking about?
Stephen A.
Oh, yeah, I ain't never liked
Stephen A.
that dude,
But
man.
what I'm saying is he um he said, and I think he got hit for this. He said that he just doesn't have the freedom, and I'm paraphrasing. He doesn't have the freedom to tell the truth, and to really exploit the reporting. He said that's why we always have the same content of the Lakers, the Celtics, and and a few other high profile teams, right?
yeah,
And they uphold the distributed content to a minimum, right? Same kind of shit. But I think he got caught up for that, man. And he does it himself too. I mean, he's a reporter, he's getting paid. You just signed him a whole new contract, man, and he has this platform and can't even use it once again. You know what I mean? Can't even use
no,
it.
when you get fired, it ain't no platform. You only got a platform when you can't get fired. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, 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 right,
Yeah.
right.
So if you can get fired, somebody else is paying you. You know what I'm saying?
There's something
And
in what we read that just purely explains that. Yeah.
right, right. You gotta really be independent, and then you finding you partnering with somebody. You
Yeah.
know, I'm gonna come do this work. You pay me for it. You know what I'm saying? That's not me working for you though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't fire me. You know what I'm saying? But that's how people get they mad, but they still know they control. You know what I'm saying? The podcast more independent than what they know. They don't make the level of money, but a podcast is more independent than them.
Right.
Way
Right.
more.
Way more independent. No doubt
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
Yeah. But he still has I just don't like his flow anyways, but it's just representation of being under the dictation of somebody else still in a big way. And how it negatively affects our people for sure. but the world as a whole, no matter what, the news is still news.
Well, that's when you got old Morrison down here in Houston.
Oh yeah,
Who
Roland
got
Martin,
fired? Who got fired from
CNN.
CNN? Now he's creating his own. He said what the fuck he want to say. Nobody can tell him what to say now.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the
They can't
platform.
fuck with
That's
him.
the platform right there.
Yeah, they can't fuck
Yeah,
with him.
that's his platform. You know? Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's the difference. You
we
know?
we got our little thing, man, and we be getting tagged. We still under the rest. We
Yeah.
still under the rest, man.
Uh,
You hear me?
oh,
I said we still under duress. You know,
oh,
we're under their real rules and shit like that, and minimized, and we can't show this, can't show that, and all that shit, man.
Yeah.
But now Roland Martin, though.
Yeah, they flag us every goddamn time they can.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
can't just show whatever we want to show. We under somebody else, platform.
right,
Yeah, so, and then under that, when you deal with ideas, you know what I'm saying? You with
right,
me?
right,
You and Jamie created this here platform. This is y'all idea. You with me?
right, right,
Yeah, and y'all sharing it with the world. You know what I'm saying? So, now again, the way it's presented on, it can be taken away from us. Or, like I say, we can get cut off from doing certain things. But you do have something that you created.
yeah,
And he was always talking about we create things under oppression.
right,
You know what I'm saying? This is a white man platform ultimately, but we got some on it talking about him. You know, no,
right.
yeah.
No
We
shit.
get rebellious.
Right, right, exactly, exactly. We got that nerve
Yeah.
type shit.
But
Yeah,
y'all need to create something. Y'all had an idea, y'all need to create something. You with me?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And we use it, it's we don't have no bars on it, you know what I mean? It's not, we don't restrict our information. It may be
no.
restricted, but we ain't restricted. I think that's a big difference.
Right. And then when I saw the room, they got hit around the time. Then let you know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, somebody paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody paying attention.
Yeah. That's like somebody told.
Let me see if this fits, what Gerald is describing, what so this is under the influence of societal vision, page 40. Another important aspect of power that comes from the proper education is the ability to influence the vision of the society. The vision represents the goals and agendas of collective aspirations of people. The vision raises one's perception from the level of specific ideas to the higher. This is what you read, Gerald. The vision raises one's perception from the level of specific ideas to the higher level of ideals. Whereas ideals create the image of how the world exists, the vision creates the image of how the world should be. Here again, the expectation is that the people who are appropriately educated would certainly aspire to create a future environment that ensures their presence and contributions. People projecting their continual influence across time created this vision. It grows from a sense of importance of their uniqueness and the value of their continuity. At the physical level, there are few drives that have the intensity of the reproductive drive, the physical urges to perpetuate oneself without being told by anyone. Normal human beings are driven to continue their lineage beyond their moral existence. Yeah, so that sounded fitting to me, man.
Yeah.
You know, we were taught what we were taught, man, and so that really hits home to me. I wanted to make proud our ancestors. I remember when Toy came on and she said, "What would your mom think of you uh, going against that?" And I said, "My mom would certainly be proud and thankful for that. I am." All right. She knew what she knew, propagated what she propagated, but she was always open for truth.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's another tool they use. What would your granny think?
Yeah.
What would auntie think? What would your sister? Like what the reverend? What you gonna tell the reverend? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean that's another thing. That's trying to that's a way of them trying to snap you back.
Yeah, a guilt trip.
You know what I mean? Trying to snap you back. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like, and you gotta respect it, man. I mean, that's what they supposed to do. They doing what they supposed to do. You know what I mean? They supposed to try to correct you and bring you back. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So you gotta respect that, man. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And now don't get like Reds. Fuck you, bitch. I ain't. Fuck your God. You know how? Reds go with.
Reg ain't holding you up, man.
Yeah, Reds ain't giving a fuck. He'll tell his mom that. You know what I
Right,
mean? He'll tell his
right.
own mama, fuck your God. You know what I mean? Shit like
Yeah,
that. You know what
yeah.
I
Reg
mean?
ain't playing, man.
Yeah,
See?
he tell his mama that, and you can ask him. He
Yeah,
had, they done got into it at the restaurant. He said,
yeah,
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 you know what I mean. So yeah, he's serious. Is he's serious about that, man.
yeah.
Really, really serious
And
about it. And and Rez used to be in the church. He
in the
was
church, man, no doubt.
literally in the church. He
Yeah,
was. What did he? I think he was like deacon or something. He was something. He was literally a member of the church, man, and shit, uh, shit, something happened. I don't know what it was, but something happened. Whatever it was, something happened, and next thing I know, I'm seeing Reds with the with them vulgar ass posts. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And then
man.
I seen him get into it with his uncle Bob. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
man.
saying? Woo! I was like, man, I had to talk to him. Hey, Reds, listen, man. I know your Uncle Bob. I've been know, you know what I'm saying? I know him. You know what I mean? Shit, man. That's your uncle now, King. Come on now.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
You
Reg
know what I
wasn't
mean?
playing with
And
it though.
y'all live. Y'all in the everybody seeing this, King. So like you have to call your uncle, King. Don't get off Facebook with this, man.
Right, right.
You know
Yeah,
what I
no
mean?
doubt.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
doubt.
man. Get off Facebook with this, King. But
But he's so sincere too, man.
he is, man. He
He's
really
so
is.
sincere
So
about
so
this.
so that's what I'm saying. We like, they be trying to snap you back. You know what I mean? You can kindly decline. You know what I mean? Hey, listen, man. My mom would love the advancement. You know what I'm saying? We just took it to another level. That's all. We just
Right.
took it to another level. You know, to a whole nother level, man. And I guarantee you, she would be interested.
Yeah, and this book is, like grassroots written. I mean, anybody can understand this, man. And I think it said some part in there. What was that last? You still got it up? What was that last sentence that it said? I don't got it up anymore. I got the book. So the last sentence on of chapter 3.
Hey, my auntie she was a diehard Catholic.
Right,
She
right.
went to the Catholic church,
You talking
and
about Diane and them's mom?
yeah, and my auntie, man, she was, but we used to have conversations, and I didn't believe in that shit, but I did tell her, she used to be putting the motherfucking Christmas trees in her house and shit. And I used to tell her about that shit, like, you into the Catholicism, and it clearly tells you in there, don't do that, Auntie. And she was like, and I showed it to her, and after that, Shit, my auntie never put another Christmas tree in her motherfucking house.
No doubt.
She sure didn't. You know what I'm saying? And so, and I knew that if I brought something to her, she was with it. She's listening.
How
And
old was
she
you when you influenced her like that?
shit, I was shit, I was grown. About maybe
Right.
20 something, 22, 23,
Okay.
something like that.
But
Yeah, man. My auntie, man, I was telling her that then. I was like, look, man, you ain't supposed to be putting that in your house. You know what I mean? And she ain't never put after that, she ain't never put one in the house.
that's pretty
Shit.
cool.
So I know that, and so and we used to always kick it. Me and my auntie used to always kick it, man, about God and all that shit, man. And I ain't never believe in none of it. But I would give her my portion, you know what I'm saying, of what I thought about it, you know what I mean, what I studied. And
Right.
she ain't get mad or none of that. She'd be like, well, can you show me where I can find that? You know what I mean? So I can read it, you know what I mean? Well, that's what she wanted. She with it.
Yeah, that's why I can't wait one day. I hope one day me and my Aunt Farika can get together and talk about it. I know I couldn't talk about it with my dad. He'd be like, "What? What? What the hell?
Boy,
You the devil, get the fuck out of my house." No, I don't think he would do that. We had some debates. But let me read this here, man. It says, ultimately, the power that comes from education should well equip people who to participate in structuring the vision that inspires people to reach for their greater heights in the advancement of humanity. People who fail to develop this kind of power or who don't want this kind of effectiveness are people who are quite definitely miseducated. Yeah, quite definitely miseducated. All right. And this is a good one, man. This is a good one. I'm gonna sign out,
No.
man. You good, Jamie?
yeah, man.
Good.
Yeah, you good?
I'm good. You good, Gerald?
I'm here.
Good, good.
Okay, man. Hey, family, listen, man. We're gonna shut him down. Please join us first Sunday every month. The first was the first Sunday, right? First Sunday every month. We do the children's book read, 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also do an open forum, open mic, Fridays, every Friday, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please join us. Like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. Let us know what you're going, what you think. But if nothing else, just subscribe, man. Like and subscribe, if nothing else, man. And let us put some more of this information out here about our Black African history, fam. All right, that's all. You know what I mean? So, this is gonna conclude us for the chapter 3. Dr. Naeem Akbar, Know Thyself, family. This is what this is all about, man. Know thyself, right? That's what it's all about, man. If you see, because listen, man, when you know thyself, nobody can trick you no more, man. Can't get tricked no more, right? Can't get tricked no more, man. And I ain't talking about when you talking about knowing thyself and I know myself through the Bible and all that. Nah, we ain't talking about that. We ain't talking about that. That's a different know thyself. All right, that ain't even know thyself. That's know somebody else self, or whatever you want to call it. But this is know thyself, not know somebody else self or stuff or information. All right, we talking about our own information for our own edification, our own, you know, our own, development and survival. All right, family. So, hey, man, talk to him,
Yeah, man. I just wanted to go over the 4 fundamental truths.
over, man.
All
Put them out
right.
there.
So
Share
specific.
it right quick. Share it right quick. Can you share it? You got it?
Okay,
Pull it up.
share. I can, yeah. Well, I'm gonna share that. So I'm gonna share Gil Heron's little skit too.
Share it, man.
You got
Share it.
about 4 more minutes, Gerald.
You know,
Yeah.
Okay, you see that?
Mhm.
4 fundamental truths, scientific and historical facts. Number 1, Africa was
Make it
the
bigger,
birth.
blow it up. There you go.
Better?
Yes, sir.
Shit, hold up. Just disappeared. Okay. All right, scientific and historical facts. Africa was the birthplace of humanity. 2, African people populated the entire planet Earth. 3, African people developed the sciences, arts, and humanities. 4, African people have influenced the world for thousands of years. And I just want to attach my little time to share with Gil Heron's little joint here.
Gil Scott Heron.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
That's right. No sound. You hear me? Ain't no sound.
You ain't no sound?
No.
Mm-mm.
Wait, hold on. Okay. Let me send it to him. Yeah, I just sent it to you, Jamie.
All right.
I was wondering about our yesterdays and digging through the rubble. And to say the least, somebody went to a hell of a lot of trouble to make sure that when we looked things up, we wouldn't fare too well. And we would come up with totally unreliable pictures of ourselves. But I've compiled what few facts I could, such as they are, to see if we could find out a little bit of something. And this is what I got so far. First, white folks discovered Africa. They claimed it fair and square. Cecil Rhodes couldn't have been robbing nobody because, hell, there wasn't nobody there. And white folks brought all the civilization because there wasn't none around. How could the folks be civilized when wasn't nobody writing nothing down? And just to prove all of their suspicions, well, didn't take too long. They found out that there were whole tribes of people in plain sight running around with no clothes on. That's right. The men, the women, the young, and the old righteous folks covered their eyes, and no time was spent considering the environment. Hell no, this just wasn't civilized. And another piece of information they had, or at least this is what we were taught, is that unlike the civilized people of Europe, these tribal units actually fought. And yes, there was some crude implements, and yes, there was primitive art, and yes, they were masters of hunting and fishing, and courtesy came from the heart. And yes, there was love and medicine, religion, intertribal communication by drum, but no paper, no pencils, and no other utensils. And hell, these folks never even heard of a gun. And this is why the colonies came, to stabilize the land, because the dark continent had copper and gold, and the discoverers had themselves a plan. They would discover all the places with promise. You didn't need no titles and deeds. Then they would appoint people to make everything legal, to sanction the trickery and greed. And back in the jungle, when the natives got restless, they would call it guerrilla attack. And they would never describe that the folks finally got wise and decided that they would fight back. And still, we are victims of word games. Semantics is always a bitch. Places once referred to as underdeveloped are now called mineral rich. And the game goes on eternally. Unity kept just beyond reach. Egypt and Libya used to be in Africa. They've now been moved to the Middle East. There are examples galore, I assure you. But if interpreting were left up to me, I'd be sure every time folks knew this version wasn't mine, which is why it is called his story. I was wondering about our yesterdays and digging through the rubble. And to say the least,
Yeah,
somebody
that's
went to
sharp
a
right
hell
there,
of a lot
man.
of
Gil
trouble
Scott Heron
to make
wasn't no
sure that
joke,
when
man. Hey, but the brother has always put history out there, man. He's always done it, man. I say to that brother, man.
Okay.
Show, man. Gil Scott Heron is a yeah, is a hell of a brother right there, man. Yeah, yeah, for sure, man.
What you got, Gerald?
That's it, man. I'm Neil in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? Now we understand what we miseducated because we ain't got no power. So now, and, you know, and make sure if we are properly educated, that's all working towards power. That influence our environment. You know, something than that. That create something. That's good for our people. You know, and it's something to do that, whatever it is. You know, but let's do something. You know, but that's all I got. I'll be ready for next week. Let Paul let love.
No doubt. RBG. RBG, the power to negotiate, influence, and inspire.
Yes, sir. Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's some good stuff.
Uh-huh.
Go on, close us out, Jamie.
Yeah, family. Dr. Naeem Akbar. Know Thyself, chapter 3. Next week we'll be going to chapter 4. Please join us, fam. If you guys want to catch up on the book, you can get with somebody on Sankofa 180 degrees Facebook group, and we can send you the PDF, or you can look up the PDF yourself. It's available, and you can read all the way up to the read the whole book if you want, but or you want to read with us. Read the first 3 chapters and then come on in, man, and we'll go through it, man. All right. But other than that, join us again first Sunday every month for the children's book read. Every Friday, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time for open mic, and every Sunday 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time uh, uh, for presentations in history, straight history. All right, fam. Uh, love
Yeah.
y'all. Peace.
And then open mic night, man, is an opportunity to bring your topic, man, and let's talk about it. You
Mhm.
know, it's really a safe environment if you got a little bit thick skin and interest in real interest in your question, or your presentation. And so yeah, that's all I wanted to say.